get to our guest in just a moment. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. Just a quick note about our friend Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology in Rupert. She would like to ask you why you would choose, in fact, she would like you to choose Mount Harrison Audiology. Why would you do it? Experience. Dr. Pickup is a certified audiologist with 17 years serving the hearing impaired of all ages. True diagnostic testing will help you know what causes your hearing loss and will lead to your best treatment options. Trust your hearing to a certified audiologist. Call Mount Harrison Audiology for your appointment today, 312-0957. That would be opposed to a certifiable talk show host. Slight difference in meaning there of those two words. The prodigal Sheriff's Department spokesman has returned. Dan Tom back from a conference.
Yeah, I was really important, I'm pretty sure, last week. I had a great cover, though. Yeah. Deputy Radmal is a great. He really is. What he does is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm like in awe sometimes when he comes and does some stuff. So it's kind of cool to have him as my partner.
Yeah, a good guy. And well, I haven't met anybody at the Sheriff's Department I didn't like.
I have, but no, I'm just kidding. Hey, you know what? Oftentimes I'll come and I'll talk about kind of a little bit important things, and in regards to this last week. And this last week we had a young man that crashed in his four-wheeler, and
Wasn't wearing a helmet, right?
yeah, and that's my big thing. And is that and every once in a while you'll get some of these people posting all that, where are the parents, blah blah blah. This had nothing to do with that. These are kids. They're stupid. I'm straight up. I mean, not that he was stupid. I'm just saying that making mistakes is what we do when we're 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And that's what happened. He made a mistake. He rode without a helmet on. And I'm just stressing to parents that we just need to put this into our kids' head that if you get on that bike at all, if you don't have a helmet, I'm taking it away. I mean, we need to lay down the law with this thing with the helmets. Over the last couple of years, I've seen way too many young people get injured horribly or killed. And within the last two years, I could think of two that were under 18 years old that were killed because they didn't have helmets on. They would have survived if they had helmets on. This is just our noggin is everything. If we protect that thing, we will survive. But man, when they're just not riding without helmets, and so I'm pleading with parents is that um, I know teenage boys, they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I was one at that time, and I'm sure I broke things and everything else that came along with it. We just have to really put into their heads, cover the head, cover the head, cover the head with the helmet. And it's not about being against the law, because it is. Under 18, you have to have a helmet, no matter what you're doing. If you're farming, whatever it is, if they're riding any kind of ATV, motorcycle, even on private property, they have to have a helmet on. The agricultural doesn't override that one. They have to have a helmet on. So many of my friends in the West End have been farming years and years over there, and they have kids, and they let them ride without their helmets. They got to get their helmets on them. So
I went horseback riding the last time. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, but it's been 20 years. But I'd like to take it up again now that I live in Idaho.
yeah,
But as I was reading that story, I thought, it might Stetson looks cool, but at my age, it might be a better idea to put a helmet on.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it truly is. I mean, our head is pretty heavy, and oftentimes that's the first thing that's going to whack the ground, or it's going to whack the ground with a real strong power as far as like whiplashing. So keeping a helmet on when you have the opportunity to do it, you just can't go wrong. And they're not uncomfortable. I'm a motorcycle rider too, and I feel kind of naked if I even move my motorcycle from the front of the house to the back house without a helmet on, just because I've been so used to it and seen so many horrible crashes. I'm just sold for helmets. Even on bicycles, I never used to ride a bicycle with a helmet, and my wife has kind of changed my mind on that one. So we ride bikes quite often, and I always have a helmet on. So
I gotta ask you a quick question here. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you think the media showed some proper restraint this week when it reported the investigation about the deputy firing a service pistol? Because sometimes we've seen media jump to conclusions in this state before an investigation is complete. Do you think that we're seeing now finally media saying, well, we're going to take our time and let the facts fall where they may?
I'm hoping so. I thought that was great. I truly did, because they didn't jump out and nail us to the wall or anything like that. They're waiting, and I'm thinking that's great. Now you look on Facebook, the friends of that, they've already used that word crucified law enforcement because we're horrible, blah blah blah, and that'll happen. We know that'll happen. But I really appreciated what the media is doing, waiting to find out what the investigation is and then bring it on, because they all like to have that story first. I know that's part of the
Very
job.
competitive today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so they want to. Sometimes they can. I don't think our local media does this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that they make these stories bigger so that it's a better story. I think they really want to report the truth. And so, us in law enforcement, when we want to release the best information we can without contaminating the case.
What I'd like to do before we actually get through the state legislative session too is have you come back a day where we actually take a good half hour to talk about some of the stuff going through the legislature
Yeah, there's
this
quite
year
a few
too.
new laws that are going to affect
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
especially with 2-lane roads here in this county, with a lot of them, we could see changes in at least speed limit, at least a little bit more leeway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that might be an exciting topic to, because every time I brought that up the last couple of weeks, people have been interested in talking about it.
Yeah.
Because you know what, it's an issue everyone deals with.
And I'd like to see what the laws say when they're done, because they do get tweaked a little bit as they go through the process, and so I want to see what they look like when they're done. I know what some of them are saying now.
Of all
So
people, though, Lance Clow is the least likely guy to probably speed. Uh, I picture him like Dave Thomas from Wendy's. Remember the
yeah,
commercial where he was 15 miles under the speed limit?
yeah, yeah.
That's what I envision. I want to thank you for coming in
Hey,
today.
it's good to be back.
Yeah, and we'll talk maybe
Couple
next
weeks.
Thursday.
Yeah, couple weeks. I think it's anyway. Another time we'll be back. So
Okay, well, or we can always add something in between.
you give me a call.
All right, super.
Thanks.
Coming up on 20 minutes to 9 o'clock. Got a couple of stories I want to share with you about. There's a talk about a general strike. Immigrants would stay home from operating their businesses across the country. That's on the way in a few minutes on Top Story. We're at 35.